chapter in our human relations course for this go around. The topic of this quick video is to be able to explain some of the strategies you can use with negotiation. So here we are focusing on negotiation as part of your career success. Being a good negotiator means more successful career. And of course, we know that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. This is true for your career as a whole. This is true for you as a leader. And it's also true for you as negotiators, right? Because we know that when we negotiate, it's a process. It's not one-time event. It's a process, and it is a relationship with the person you are negotiating with. So, of course, we already know that you can negotiate when you're buying a house or when you're buying a car. But do you ever think about the fact that there are so many other things that we negotiate and that can be negotiated on a daily basis, right? So negotiating can really happen daily from, if you're in school and you have a roommate who's going to do the dishes, where are you going to go out to eat tonight, to negotiating salaries or even a team position on a new team, right? And so to persuade other people, it's a learned skill, meaning this is something we can get better at, but we need to practice it. It's like math. It gets easier the more you practice. And I think the key really to keep in mind with negotiation, it is about problem solving. You have a need, the party or the person you are negotiating with has their need, and both people need to feel that they are getting value from the solution, right? Both people need to walk away feeling like they got the deal for it to actually happen. If you're walking away bitter about the outcome or they are walking away bitter about the outcome, that is not a good negotiation. And remember, it is a process and it's a relationship. So we never want to take advantage of people unless it's just a one-time thing to buy a car. That's different, but for all the other negotiation situations in your life. And so maintaining this relationship when you are negotiating is super important. So we need to be mutually respectful. We need to use our emotional intelligence skills. Can't just run people over to get what we want. So here are some of the things to keep in mind, some of the top tips for negotiations. The first one is, and I already mentioned it on the prior slide, is to be prepared, be prepared to show the other party how they can benefit from what you are offering, right? So if you're wanting to negotiate salary as your book is discussing, you can say, well, I hear you. I hear that the salary is X, but if you look at all these other skills that I'm bringing to the table, perhaps we can do Y dollars. And if we can't do it now, can we renegotiate the salary in 6 months, etc. Right? So show how they can benefit from your offer. Number two, maintain your human relation skills, right? We need to make sure that we are still respectful, giving people the respect that they deserve, treating them with dignity and kindness. So we are, number two, maintaining our human relation skills. Number three, we're fostering a collaborative environment, meaning it is a problem-solving situation where everyone's needs are taken into account. So we collaborate to find good solutions. Number four, sit down and reflect on what you want before even starting the negotiations. Know what you will accept, know what you absolutely will not accept, what you might consider, right? What's certain, what's uncertain. What makes you say yes immediately? So what are your goals? Set your goals and think of your BATNA, BATNA, your best offer to a negotiated agreement, right? I also do an MBA course on negotiations and conflict that I will be uploading. So if you're interested in negotiations and BATNAs, etc., and goals in negotiations, make sure to check that out. So, number five, listen to what they need, the other party, their full needs and their wants. This is going to allow you to be a better negotiator and walk away with a win-win situation, which maintains that relationship. Number six, be aware of anchors, negotiation anchors. This is generally the first offer that is given. The anchor is the starting point for most negotiations. So somebody can set that really high or really low. And that's what people do when they are putting a house on the market and they're pricing it really high. They're hoping that offers will come in around that anchor. It psychologically anchors that number in your head. So be aware that the number or whatever that first offer is may or may not be realistic, but it is an anchor. And finally, just keep your expectations realistic, right? You cannot ask for the moon, right? If you're offered X and you want X plus a trillion, might not be realistic. So just think in terms of what makes sense for the context. For your exercise, go ahead and perform a self-assessment of your negotiation skills by answering the questions on this slide. A, have you recently negotiated? B, if you did, how did you feel about it? If it was successful, what made it so? If it was not successful, why not? C, what negotiation techniques would you like to work on? Identify them and identify ways that you can improve them. D, think of specific strategies to work on the negotiations techniques you mentioned in question C, right? So sit down. What will get you to that negotiation technique? Do you need to learn more? Do you need to practice the skills? What is it that you need to do? And then, in summary, many things in life can and will be negotiated, from salary to large purchases. There are many things to consider when negotiating: respecting the other party, communicating well, and being aware of your needs and your wants before going into the negotiation will make it smoother and it will make you more successful. A negotiation anchor is a starting point for negotiations, and usually all negotiations are based around that first figure. Not always, but often. Because of this, it's important to understand the right anchor to start negotiations with, or if the other party starts negotiations, how you will respond to that. So, with that, we're all done for negotiations, and I'll see you for the part number 4, where we are going to talk about career progress and promotions.